Hello to you once again. White to checkmate in 2 moves. If you imagine that you could just plonk your queen here, and the queen backed up by the bishop there on h2, that would be checkmate. Just take a good look at it. However, that's outside the rules, isn't it? So what you need to do, bearing that in mind, is to find a move that will enable you to do that on the second move. So you have a choice of these 3 squares. Which one is it? You must get it right. Well, there's queen c3 and you are threatening queen e5. Let's look at black's replies from left to right. If you take this queen and this pawn and move either of those pieces, it's going to be queen e5. There's no way out of it. Just to prove it, let's just say he takes the rook. Then the inevitable queen e5 backed up by the bishop is checkmate. No problem. Should he move his knight anywhere, say like this, what do we do in a situation like that? How do we deal with that? Well, he's been very kind to us there if you think about it, because what he's done, just taking a broader view of this, he has opened up the d file, and so now we can just nip in there and checkmate. And we nicely cover this pawn with our queen, and the queen's backed up by the rook on d8, and that is checkmate. So that's rather nice. So moving the knight anywhere doesn't work. What about if he moves his king this way? How do we deal with that? Well, taking the pawn here, you just go to c6. So we need to cover c6. But we need to cover here as well. Can you see it? Just take a look at that. Well, congrats if you found it. It's simply queen c4. And before we moved the knight and it opened up the rook file. Now he can't move the knight because it's pinned, so he is powerless to take the queen. So that is definitely checkmate. Wonderful. So that doesn't work. So what about if he moves this pawn? What do we do then? Let's take a look at that. What do we do there? Well, what we do there is we take the knight and we deliver double check. He's checked by the knight and he's checked by the bishop down there. And if you look at that, just take a good look at that, you will agree that all the squares are covered. Yep, they are. So that doesn't work. What about if he takes the pawn with his king? Like that. What do we do in that situation? Well, we looked at the knight being pinned just a moment ago. Now his pawn is pinned with a queen. So we take full advantage of that, and that is checkmate. Just look at that. So what about if he moves this bishop anywhere? Let's just say here. What do we do then? Well, that's not a problem because we have our old friend queen e5 backed up by the bishop there on h2, and everything is covered. There is no way out, and the queen nicely covers the pawn on the other side of the black king. That is a nice problem from a lady composer back in the 19th century, I believe, and I trust that you enjoyed it, and goodbye for now.